And now we have another new feature, which is to exclude based on the platform. I think there was some discussion on the last meeting. That's a highly demanded feature. So I will give a demo about how to exclude a platform in the AdoptOpenJDK. So let me present.
So this will help us in preparation for this weekend's runs again.
Yeah. So yeah. Also, I also updated the documentation in the AdoptOpenJDK doc user guide. So in this file, we can see this is the added feature. We can exclude a test against a specific platform. So what we can do is also like the subset or the version. We add a palette element in the disabled element to specify the platform, which is specified in the regular expression format. We can find all the platforms defined here. So like this ARM_Linux, that's the platform. In the platform requirements for the playlist.xml, we used to use the spec. So now for the disable, we will use this platform directly because this platform also match with the build name. And later on, we will also switch the platform requirements to platform as well. But for now, the platform requirements is using spec, and this disable is using platform. So for example, we want to disable this test. What we can do is we add a disable target, disable element with the comment and a platform. So by looking at the platform set, if we do this, that means all the Linux platform will be disabled. So that's the manual way to add a disable platform. We can also do it in the automation way. So which is documented earlier in this file. Yeah, so it's easy to do. We just need to add this auto exclude test with the name and platform equals to what. We can also combine the platform with other criteria. For example, this version, info, and also maybe a subset of the test. So now I will give a demo on how to use it. This is a real use case. So Shelly has a issue on this specific test. It will be failed on non-AMD 64-bit systems. So by looking at the requirements, we can see we want to only run it on the AMD 64 platforms. So what we can do is we add this comment here. So first, we take a look at the test itself. So we find this test in this repo, and it looks like it only has one variation, which is like no option. And based on the requirement here, it looks like it's not only this issue is not only specific to one variation, it's for all the variations for this test, even if we had more variations added later on. So what we can do here is when we put the test name, we don't need that _0. We put the whole name of the test target. So this will exclude this test for all the variations that might be added later on. Then we have a platform. By just look around how to play with the regular expression. I have a regular expression tester open here. I pasted all the platforms we had, and what we want to do is only enable it on 64 Linux, 64 Mac, and 64 Windows, and that is the correct format. So we use this as the platform regular expression. So go back to that issue. We put this platform equals to this. Then we do comment. So now we can take a look at the action. Yeah, here's already a action running. We go back to this issue. We can open the new PR. And in this PR, we will find, okay, this test is excluded for as what we required. And the developer can take a look at the PR and review it and merge it. So yeah, that's the workflow of how to use this auto exclusion on the platform. So and also if we want to exclude on the version or the other criteria, we can also follow the documentations. Yeah, that's it for my demo.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Renfei. Now I will. Yep.
Yeah.
How did it know which playlist to apply it to?
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
It was the first playlist that needed changing. How did it know that that was the playlist file?
Based on the test name, right?
Based on the test name, yeah.
It's unique.
So the Python
the test
script
name is
that backs this up goes through all of the playlists till it finds the test name.
Yes.
And in a previous demo that Renfei showed us, if it cannot find the test name, it fails to create a pull request, and it gives you an error that says cannot find the test name.
Yeah, so if we take a close look at the action run, we will see we are trying to search the file playlist.xml in this repo and search for that test name only. So, and we find that playlist.xml. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there will be some cases, I think, where we won't be able to use this automated approach, where there's already a disabled tag perhaps that needs to be edited. That will be a manual change, but for a lot of cases where we, as we were discussing, where we want to be able to quickly disable some targets to get running green, this is going to be very useful. And then the same type of approach to come back in and go, we want to now check that we can re-enable some of the things. So we have a standard format of, you'll notice that Renfei adds a comment. The URL to the issue gets put as the comment. So yeah, that's great. Thank you. That's awesome. Other questions for Renfei or this feature? No? Okay. So we'll move on. I think I have Lan, you're up next. I don't think anyone else is on the hook for a demo today, but I wanted to just touch some of the points in the agenda. And Lan, you've recently been doing some mode maneuvers. You have to say a few words, and I'll share our list here.
Basically, I just want to mention that some of you may already notice that I'm adding the compressed ref and non-compressed ref on all the OpenJDK and system test at this point. And so that's mode 150 and mode 650. And we noticed that 650 doesn't work on hotspots 32-bit. So there's going to be a new mode 1000 be added. Actually, I have the PR ready for review. So that will actually cover the 32-bit platforms. So moving forward, we'll have standard coverage for test target. The standard coverage will be 3 modes: compressed ref, non-compressed ref, and 32-bit. So that's for OpenJDK test and system test. I know there's a release coming up next week, so the change will be in this week. So I think that's
And this fixes some of the failures we saw on the weekends, and we have one more weekend run, I presume, that can verify that things are looking a bit better. So we're in the, that's this, I'll merge your change after the meeting today, Lan. Thanks for getting it in there so quickly. And I think, we will still monitor, because this implies that we will be running more tests. It does increase our execution time somewhat. So I'll be revisiting that assessment issue to make sure that we're not completely killing ourselves. And there may be adjustments that happen after this release that's coming up again to fine tune, but I think things look in good state at the moment. Cool. What do we have next on the agenda? Smoke tests. So having looked at, and thank you, Adam, for getting a pull request together, and to Andreas for his pull request. After looking at and kind of thoughtful quiet time and thinking about what will work best, I'm going to take both of those pull requests and merge them into one that then gets put directly into the OpenJDK build repo. And we will run those tests as part of the build pipeline. So they will immediately block. We won't launch other tests if these tests fail. And we can take advantage of both the mechanism that we already have in place for pulling tests from vendor repo. In this case, the vendor repo is OpenJDK build. And the fact that Renfe is already well into adding JDK vendor support into T8G. So those two pieces will allow us to get these tests into the build repo and add them to the pipeline prior to launching any other tests, so we don't go to the trouble of running other tests if these don't work.
So do you picture these working, do you picture these running in the same job as the build itself?
I picture them running in a stage of that job, or as a first child of that job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it would be a separate job, but it would be before all the other sub-jobs.
Yes.
Right.
At least before the other test jobs, because if this job fails, we shouldn't be launching other tests.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then it also helps because right now we haven't been blocking pipelines on whether the other child test jobs pass or fail. And the reason is we've never gotten to that stable state. But so, go ahead.
Sorry, are you sure about that? Other sub-jobs, including things like installer creation, yes? Because I'm sure we failed one or two builds based on that.
I'm talking about the child test jobs. We don't block at the moment if child test jobs fail. Definitely we added for installers as an example, we now block if that fails. And this will be like that. There are also installer tests on the way. Andreas has a branch where he's trialing that out. And those types of tests can also form part of this. In the case where we do installer work in a different repo, I guess we'll have to think about that. We may want to restructure the build pipeline so that we behave the same across all platforms, but I'll leave that for a later discussion. Yeah. But I will be taking what you have and what Andreas has and putting them in one folder. And I think there is an overlap in the two PRs where you've both written for one of the test cases, you both have a test, so we can decide who gets to win. I think it's the presence maybe of a file. I'll have to look back at the PRs exactly.
Okay.
But be rest assured that we will be using those tests. I'm just going to have them moved and merged together as one in one directory inside the build folder.
So cool. I don't have to go ahead and arm wrestle Andreas.
No, I don't think so. In fact, you can shake hands and both review my suggestion once I get it there. Okay, cool. We're 10 minutes left here. I do want to talk a little bit about what's coming up in this year. Welcome to 2021. We have the Eclipse AQAvit project is in the middle of a community review. So if you're kind of been working with your head down and aren't aware of what that is, as we transition AdoptOpenJDK over to the Eclipse Foundation, we've kind of divided some of the work into three main projects. There is four if you count the top level project being Adoptium, but it is really to house three kind of streams of activities. So the Tamarin project would be the set of repos that we currently use to build the thing that we distribute. And it will be kind of the center project. There is a Tamarin compliance project that we've added, and we specifically have it pulled out into its own area because that will be the project under which we run TCKs. And we wanted it to be separate because it has some special requirements. It's not going to be truly open source because of the license agreement around the TCKs. So it's a special case that Eclipse Foundation actually needs to build some new process around because they've never done this kind of thing before. And we will limit the number of people that end up working in that area because everyone who's in that project will have to sign an additional agreement with Eclipse Foundation. And then finally, ta-da, the link in the agenda notes to the Eclipse AQAvit proposal is all things relating to quality assurance and testing quality of the binaries. So we don't count compliance as those are not quality tests. Those are testing whether the thing is compliant to the spec. AQA, which is our program, Adoptium Quality Assurance Program. VIT, meaning vitality, and we keep it live and interesting and useful and valid. And so AQAvit is essentially what we've all been working on for the last 3 years around quality assurance at the project, but expect to see a lot more activity around this. Expect to see that we will be promoting this notion of an AQA quality mark for any members who, as the Eclipse Adoptium program evolves, and we may have a marketplace, we'll have some expectations of people hosting their binaries in the marketplace need to be verified against the AQA suite and that kind of thing. So I believe the activities that we are all already engaged in will only become more important and more relevant, and we'll obviously have more collaborators as we proceed over 2021. So expect a lot of good new additions to the team, new ideas, new things to consider. But I do consider the people on this call right now as a core set of people, and I really appreciate all of the stuff you've already put in place to get us to this point. And then finally, the only other thing I was going to mention in today's meeting, maybe Lan also and Sophia may also want to speak to this, is that we will be hosting some Canadian university students at the project as part of a canosp.ca program, and we will be, they've signed up for AQA work. In other words, test-focused improvements and features that we've already defined that we want to do. This program runs from January to April, and then we hope that some students will continue into the next term, and we will definitely be submitting more ideas to this program if it feels like it's working for us well. So just wanted that to be a heads up. Once the students join, I will also invite them to this meeting, and there will be opportunities to kind of interact and meet everyone. So that's all I had for today. I'm going to open it up to any other business or conversation questions. Where are people at? How are people doing? And that's a really quiet room. All right, if there's no other business that people want to touch on today, I guess we'll close it for now. I have noted that there is work that Mesbah and Simon have been doing on some time-based system tests that I'll be putting on an upcoming AQAvit agenda. Some neat stuff there. And if you have other ideas for agenda topics for future, please let me know or start adding a issue and throwing stuff into it.
Okay. I think once Oscar is done with the decouple, we can have a demo for that.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I know already yesterday I put the pressure on you, Oscar. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, when you feel you're ready to do demo of the perf charts in TRSS for the to support DeCapo, that would be fantastic. Cool, excellent. All right, well, we'll call it there, and thanks everyone for joining. Let's stay rested and energetic for this 2021. I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to not only deliver the baseline items, but also to explore and innovate and build some new cool things. So looking forward to it, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.
Shelley.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.